I click a button and I'm an owner of a $1 billion company, part owner of it. What a great way to mind your own business, Del. So when 2020 hit and oil was free, it didn't take a genius to realize that, dude, oil ain't going to be free forever. Like, you're not going to this is an anomaly. We're in a situation right now where we have an overabundance of oil. It's being pumped. We have nowhere to put it. So we're paying people to take it off our hands because you can't just dump it outside, right? You got to have someone to take the oil. So it was free. We were paying people to take oil off our hands. As a result, people freaked out. They go, how's ExxonMobil going to make money when oil's free? Well, right now they're not going to make any, but they're not going to die here, right? They have what's called a moat. They're around to stay. They're an energy company and people need energy. So this was an opportunity to swoop in. They actually borrowed money so they could pay their dividend. They sold bonds, and they've paid a dividend that has increased every year for 40 years in a row. This is way back before, I was in high school. They've been doing this, right? Long time. And so their dividend has continued to grow. Now look at this. Let's do some numbers. You buy that at $43, I think is what my cost basis probably is. I had some puts that I sold and did some put work that brought my cost basis down. I wanted to buy it around 55, but I actually was able to get around 43. So let's call it 43. Well, their dividend is $4.96 a year. So for every share I spent $43, I'm getting $4.96. My math says that's around 10%. Spend $40, get $4, right? Whatever it is. $3.96, excuse me, not $4, $3.96. So, you spend about $40 and you get about, 9 point whatever percent. So you got a 10% asset. And is that going to last the rest of my life? Is it guaranteed to last the rest of my life? Nothing's guaranteed. Is it highly likely to last the rest of my life? Yeah, it's very likely that it is. Okay, now on top of that, let's say it's $100, 109, whatever it is today. Once a month, I can go in there and I could do a very conservative strategy called covered call writing, where I can say, look, if someone wants to pay way too much money for it and it grows really quick, hey, I'd be willing to sell it maybe. Now, I've been doing this for 5 years, and I've only had 2 times where it's gone high enough to need an adjustment. Most of the time, I make that price so high, I sell that lottery ticket to someone who is probably less likely to, they're greedy. They don't want to pay $100 for the stock. And I'll get a premium. And let's say the premium is, 1% a month off my cost basis. I wouldn't get that if I bought the stock today, but knowing that I bought in the low 40s, that's 1% a month. So that's 20%. That's pretty good. Rule of 72, I don't know how often that doubles in the rule of 72. I can't do the math in my head, but what is that? 3.5 years, something like that. That compounding is powerful. And you can do the same thing with stocks like Prudential. And, there's a bunch that we picked up, but that's what minding your own business is. And so now, I took my son when we had in the same year, and I took him down and I showed him our Apple phones, and I took out our American Express bill, which we pay everything with, and we looked at our Apple phones. I said, let's see if we can make more money with AT&T than we spend on their network. And let's see if we can make more money by selling Apple and selling covered calls on Apple than we can that we spend on our phones. And so we're minding our own business as producers. What minding your own business does is it turns you into a producer. I know I'm long-winded on this. You've asked one question. I've answered it for like an hour now, but this is so important, Del. If everyone can listen, and this is why I give away and I plug StockCast bonus so much, because it's a free way to start the context shift. So when I talk about context, it's a lot about how you think about things, right? Does your mind think the right way to where it can even catch a lesson? So see if people can see this lesson. Most people look at at stocks through the lens of price movement. I want to buy this stock, and I hope it goes up so I can sell it and make a lot of money. And that is the worst mindset you can possibly start with. I mean, that's what people on CNBC talk about. And I think about that. Most people have the worst mindset of all. They say, well, I'm going to buy this stock low. The mindset is how much producing do I do? How much of my time and how much of my effort, how much of my focus is on producing things for other people rather than myself? And at a job, I can serve a boss. I can follow her instructions or his instructions. I can go to a job and serve a boss. But if I decide to own shares, I can serve millions of people, billions of people all around the world. So the idea of minding your own business has nothing to frickin' do with what stock is buying low and selling high. So when I talk about context, hopefully, someone out there listening, one or two people might have said, oh my gosh, he's right. Why would I worry about buying something low and selling something high? I should say this: the more people that I serve, the more effective I become. And once I buy a share of a powerful company that's serving people every day, I do what Warren Buffett's saying. He said, seek out the lowest way to participate in American business and do it consistently, which is very close to what the author said in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, when Robert said, assets of your business, start small, and be consistent.